the guys in this locker room, man, we all love each other. It's a real brotherhood, and for us to go through adversity really week in and week out with guys going down, guys stepping up, it's just a credit to what we have going on in that locker room, man. So I'm glad, we are where we are, and we're in the playoffs, and now you got to go find a way every single week.
Got a big game coming up. For you as a player, how much does the mentality or approach change to a game going into a playoff game, or does it?
Yeah, I mean, I think, you still got to go throughout your process that you've done all season long, for 17 weeks of games. You still have that same process, but at the same time, we all know it's at stake. This could be the last game of the season, or you move on and you're alive, and with your teammates and the organization and keeping everything afloat. So we all know it's at stake. And so does the other team, man. Everyone's going to be playing desperate football. But that's what makes it fun. And once you do, capitalize on it. And if you win and you move on, it feels really good, man. So.
And by the way, congrats on a great season. I'm sure you guys inside the 49ers building, had high expectations for yourselves. But after all the injuries last year, the turnover, especially at the wide receiver position, I'm not sure many people outside of that building expected you guys to be battling for the number one seed down to the final week. What do you attribute that success to?
Man, I really do. I've said this before. I really do think just the culture that, from our owners in the Yorks to John Lynch and Kyle, the culture that they've built here since they've all been here is what's kept it alive and going and thriving, because they bring in the right guys every year, whether they're rookies or free agents. And when things obviously don't go our way in terms of having some of our big guys get hurt, they've had great guys be able to step into those roles and thrive and keep this thing going and finding ways to win and playing with a chip on our shoulder, man. So that's a big credit to them. And I think just as a whole, man, the guys in this locker room, man, we all love each other. It's a real brotherhood. And for us to go through adversity really week in and week out with guys going down, guys stepping up, it's just a credit to what we have going on in that locker room, man. So I'm glad, we are where we are, and, we're in the playoffs, and now you got to go find a way every single week.
Yeah, that next man up mentality, it certainly feels like one of Kyle Shanahan's better coaching jobs. Where does that come from? Do you guys talk about that at all?
Definitely. We've had a bunch of different, scenarios over the last couple of years where a guy goes down and another guy gets thrown into the role. And obviously you have other good guys and veterans to, help that young player thrive and go. And I was one of those guys in 2022. I was a third string quarterback, and I got put in the starting role when two of our guys went down. And to have guys like Kittle and Christian McCaffrey, Trent Williams build me up and help me grow as a player, like, it's a credit to them. And it's the same thing this year. We had Fred Warner, Bosa, like some of our big name guys go down, but because of who we have in the locker room, we're able to bring these young guys along and keep it going. And so it's just been a yearly kind of thing. So really proud of the guys to be able to bring everybody along and find ways to win.
Now, you've got a big game coming up here against the Eagles, and, back to that injury thing, the last time you played these guys in the playoffs, we know what happened in the conference championship. You go down. How much do you guys think about that and having an opportunity to finish what you started there?
Yeah, I mean, we ended up going and playing them the next year, and I feel like, we had a similar team in that 23 year where we wanted to go, finish sort of what we started. Going back to the 2022 season, but where we're at now, it's a different year for both teams. We have, I think, two really different teams, and just where we're at, we're focused on, being the best version of ourselves this year right now, going in, competing, find a way to win. That was what, 2-3 years ago, when all that other stuff happened. So for us, we're not going to try to buy into that. It's more so, how can we be the best right now with where we're at? So we're buying into that and be where our feet are at and find ways to just get better, obviously, so that's just where we're at.
I mean, going on the road, though, correct me if I'm wrong, this is only your second road playoff game, and both have been in Philadelphia. What do you expect that environment to be like?
Yeah, I mean, it's a great environment, man. I mean, the Eagle fans, love their team. They're loyal. They bring it every single home game. Like, you feel it when you're there in terms of, them getting loud and, them wanting to win. Like, they're passionate about the Eagles and the history there, man. So, and I think that's really cool, as a player, in the NFL to go to a place that, there's rich history and the fans love it. So the environment's going to be rocking, that's for sure. And, but we got to go in there and be dialed into our details, the huddle, the cadence, all the little things, man. You can't take for granted. You got to be on top of it. So that's the challenge, but it also excites us.
And then you add the intensity of playoff football on top of that. Is that something you can put into words for those of us not on the field, especially from a quarterback's perspective? What exactly is the difference with playoff football?
I mean, obviously it's the same game, but it's not. Like you got to go out there and every throw, every first down, every touchdown matters, man, cuz I mean, it's like life or death in a sense where, we're trying to survive and go on to the next and stay alive, and every little thing matters, man, cuz it's going to come down to the wire. And then you look back on a couple plays and be like, man, like those two plays could have determined us to win the game and keep our season alive, so every little thing matters. You feel the pressure, the studying, the habits, all the things throughout the week that just feel a little bit different. But for us and the successful teams, I feel like find a good job of keeping it simple and doing what they've done all year to go and execute and play the game they've played all year. So
Are you guys looking forward to this challenge of kind of going on the road and being road warriors? I think you guys even had a winning record or a better record on the road than you did at home this year.
yeah, I mean, I think obviously, our goal going into this last game was to, get the bye and get home field advantage. You always want that in the playoffs. But that's just sort of how things went this year. And for us, we're not going to complain about it. We got to go and move on to the next and be ready to do whatever it takes, man. So, if that's going and winning on the road, so be it. And we're not going to complain about it. We've got to just go and do it.
After so much success your first 2 years, you guys go 6-11 last year. Obviously, we talked about the injuries and all, but that was your first time missing the playoffs. Now that you're back in this position to play meaningful games again, how do you reflect on last year and kind of put that in the perspective?
Yeah, I think, we were in a similar spot last year, to be honest, and we had guys go down and everything, but we got into close games and we just failed to finish and close out some of those close games. And so I think this year it was flipped. Like, yeah, we had some guys go down, but we found ways to win the close games and find ways to persevere and put games together and obviously have our record be better going into the playoffs, getting into the playoffs. Like I think that's crucial. So I feel like that's the biggest difference. We had guys learn from that. I learned from that. But now that we're back in the playoffs, man, like all that matters is one game at a time and doing everything you can to keep your season going.
Are we going to see you break out a Dougie celebration on Sunday?
I mean, I got to do my job and, score a touchdown and then we'll go from there.
I got to ask you about that, though, because I recently interviewed John Wall, who made the Dougie very popular in his time with the Wizards. How much did he influence your moves, by the way?
Bro, growing up, I remember watching him, do that. They announce his name and he comes out and hits the Dougie, and that's another level. Hopefully one day I'll get to that, but right now, like I got some room for improvement. So, but he's the man. I love watching John Wall growing up.
I know you recently became a dad, I think before the season start. How was your first holiday as a father?
It was awesome, man. We had a little daughter. She's 5 months right now, and just seeing her grow and she's rolling over and then having presents and stuff lined up for her. She doesn't know what's going on, but it was still cute just to get some pictures, and hopefully she can look back on it one day and all of us and just appreciate, the simplicity of where we're at in life. And but it's good, man. It's really good perspective on everything going on. So
That's awesome. All right, last question, Brock. I just got to ask because the Niners, you guys recently broke out these black uniforms. I'm curious, what did you think of them? Did you like them at all?
yeah, I thought they were sweet. It was cool seeing the whole stadium blacked out also. We did that in college and everything, but to do that in the NFL, I thought was pretty sweet. Obviously, we wish we would have showed out a little bit better in them and had some better memories in them, but I thought it was a cool switch up.